Got the blow lamp out to get this gate off. I had to take these hinges off, and to get them off we've had to heat them up quite hot and get them off the gate post. Thought the gate was in bad condition, we were going to change it. It's been under undergrowth for about 10 years that I know of, and we thought we were going to need to replace it, but turns out it's in fairly good condition, so we're going to burn all the paint off and try and get it sorted out to get it back on, clean it up, paint it, get it back on. A couple of safety issues. I'm going to be wearing my safety glasses, heavy duty gloves. I've got some water close to hand, and also I know where there's a lot more water if I need it. I'm a little bit away from the house. If you're going to do this inside a building, you really need to know what you're doing, and you really need to follow some basic rules. When we used to get insurance to do this professionally, the criteria increased and increased over years and over decades really. That the last time we had insurance to do it, we needed to complete any burning off by midday, and we needed to remain on site for another 4 hours. Any debris needed to be put in a metal container, and we needed to check the work on a regular basis until we left. So if you're going to do this at home as a DIY thing, make sure you've got some insurance for your house and stay well clear. And I can virtually date the age of this gate based on how much paint's on it, what the paint condition is. It's not been burnt off before, so it's probably, I would say, between 10 and 20 years old. And I've hacked out all the rotten stuff. There we go, so everything that we can scrape off is off. It's in reasonable nick apart from that chunk there, so we're going to try and salvage it rather than spending money on a new one. The seasoned timber on the rest of the gate is probably in better condition than if I went out and bought new stuff today. And this is a 2-pack resin to actually stabilise the wood, so this hardens it off before we fill it, so we're going to put some of this in it. I've sanded and got the dust off the surrounding area, and I'm putting the tape on so when I pour the liquid in, it isn't just going to run down the gate. So that's well soaked with the stuff. Had a bit of a difficult area. You could use a paintbrush to get into the bits that you can't reach, but I've managed to really flood that just using the container that it was in. Hopefully tomorrow that'll be hard and put some filler in it. So this is pretty much rock hard now with the wood hardener. So we're going to take the tape off and get it set up to actually fill it. So that's how it looks at the moment, and we're going to mix up a 2-pack wood filler to try and fill the hole. I've got some offcuts of timber with some masking tape taped on them, and what I'm going to do is try and use those pieces of timber to save on too much sanding after the event. Most companies that produce filler say fill it proud and then sand it, but if you've got to sand it all the time, this stuff's going to be quite hard. So if I can get it as best I can to the right shape, that's going to help. The tape's on there in case the filler sticks to the timber, then worst case scenario we're just sanding off a layer of masking tape. With the golf ball size of filler, so I'm assuming I've got about 3 golf balls there, so quite a warm day today. Okay, so let's start jamming it in. So really what I'm trying to do initially is get the filler to actually stick to the timber. Don't worry about getting the shape just yet, just get something stuck to the actual timber. is I'm going to do another mix and try and get it flat along the top of there. Try and get all the stuff off the tools. Scraper, rigid blade, doesn't bend very much. Filling knife, much more flexible, much thinner. So if I could get it reasonably smooth, I'll try and finish it off with this. You can see that's already starting to get really quite hard. We should have contained the filler with these pieces of timber. So it's had a couple of hours to harden. If it wasn't such warm weather, we probably would have left it a little bit longer. What I'm going to try and do is take the timber off. So I've got a little bit left in the can, so I'm going to just put a little bit of fill in here, but we've got pretty much the shape here. We've got the edges, so that's the important bit really. Okay, so I'm pretty much going to leave it at that. This face is the underside of the gate, so I'm not too worried about that. This face on the other side and the end will be seen. A little bit of sanding, that should be fine. So that's pretty much done with this flat surface sander. That's got an 80 grit on it that's well worn, and I'm just going to use a piece of sandpaper just where the contours are, so that I don't actually have to get the whole thing completely flat. Add a coat of grey primer. Our repair is around this corner, and then it's going to have 2 coats of black gloss. Rehang it and then touch up anything that's damaged, if there is anything damaged. So our repair is in this corner here. So here's the gate with a fresh coat of paint. I bet you can't tell where the repair is now. Looks okay, doesn't it?